Hey guys, welcome to our online message. Last week we talked about David, and we've been just kind of going through different characters of the Bible and just different stories about them. We may do this for a couple more weeks. We may switch it up a little bit next week. I'm not fully sure yet, but so far we've talked about Job, we talked about Esther and David, and tonight we're going to talk about Daniel. You probably heard the story of Daniel's in the lion's den. That's what we're mostly going to focus on tonight. But he did a lot more. There's a whole book in the Bible on him. If you want to read that, go for it. If you want to talk to me and ask me more questions about other things that happened in the book, or what other stories may be, let me know. Maybe we'll do a Daniel part two. Like I said, we might do a David part two. All right. Um, so first off, a little background on Daniel. Um, is he was captured as a young boy and brought to work in the king's palace. Um, and what we know about him is he's a very good-looking young boy. Doesn't have any blemishes on his face, which is like freckles, pimples, anything like that. Very. They say that he's a very good-looking dude and a hard worker. Another thing we know about David is he's Daniel, sorry, is that he's very faithful to God, and so are his friends. One of the first things we see about him is he is upset and refuses to eat what the king is giving to him because it doesn't go by the diet that God had given to them at the time. Um, and he stood by that, and they were like, "There's no way you can get energy from that." And he was like, "I get my energy from God," stuff like that. And he proved them all wrong. And time again, throughout the whole book of Daniel, there's multiple kings, and they see Daniel as God, and they're like, "Oh wow, we should serve him." And then the next story, they betray that and go on to something different. So we're gonna hit and we also talked about a couple weeks ago, I think more towards the beginning of um, the quarantine time, was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the burning furnace, and how God sent what we believe to be, or God sent what we believe to be, I forget, or the Holy Spirit in with them, um, and there was a fourth person in the fire with them, which is really cool. Um, and we talked about that earlier, and those were Daniel's friends. So that kind of tells you Daniel's friend group. Um, the kind of paraphrase, what we're mostly going to focus on is Daniel chapter 6, is where you can go find this. Um, so, like I said, Daniel was a very faithful guy, and he is placed, um, or it pleased Daniel, something, or Darius, King Darius is the king at the time, was pleased with Daniel and appointed him to rule parts of the land and be like a higher official. Um, and something Daniel did every day, and Daniel's kind of known for, is his prayer life. He was very faithful in his prayer. He prayed at the same time every day, at the same place, kneel down. And so other people became jealous of Daniel. They didn't like that he was getting like special treatment almost. Um, and so they were like, we need to figure out a way to get rid of him. So they see that he prays every day. And so, kind of like Esther, and what Haman did, going behind and sneaking around and getting the king um, to make a decree to kill the Jews. These guys are like, we need to find a way to get the king to get rid of Daniel. So they come up with this evil plan, and their plan is that they are going to tell or get the king to sign a decree that if anyone is caught worshiping the Lord or worshiping anyone except for the king, that they should be thrown into the lion's den. Well, they knew Daniel prayed every day at the same time in front of his window. So now Daniel has um, a little bit of a dilemma. He can either continue to pray at the same place, same time, in front of the open window, or he can go in private and pray, or does not pray at all. What does Daniel do? The same thing. He goes and he prays the same place at the same time every day. And so they catch him and they bring him to the king, and the king is very upset, but he has to stick to his word. So Daniel gets thrown in. God once again sends the Holy Spirit down, and takes care of the lions, and the lions. Now these are hungry lions, ready to eat. They're calm. They don't touch Daniel at all. So the night goes on. Daniel's down there. In the morning, the king comes running to see what happened with Daniel. And Daniel's alive and doing well. So he is brought up, and the people who are trying to get him are thrown into the lion's den. And then the lions, God is no longer protecting the humans from the lions, so the lions kill them. And we're going to read a little bit from Daniel. And King Daniel wrote to all the nations of people of every language on the earth, may you prosper greatly. I have issued a decree that in every part of my kingdom people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel, for he is a living God and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed, his dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued David and from the power of the lions. Or Daniel, sorry, not David. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Daniel, in the reign of Daniel, or not Daniel, Darius. I'm sorry, that was who was the king at the time. And I missed the part that not only were those guys thrown in, but so were their wives and children. So just kind of a recap and an application is, don't be afraid of what other people may think about your relationship with Christ. Like Daniel had an amazing prayer life. Take time and pray every day. Maybe find a place. Maybe have a scheduled time that you pray at that time every day. A place or something like that. And don't be ashamed of the gospel and of your faith. Be willing to pray in front of your friends. Maybe the next time you go out to eat with a friend, who may not be a Christian, you offer to pray for them, or you ask a non-Christian friend, how can I pray? Or you just, if they don't want to pray, you just take your time and you pray at the table by yourself. Don't be ashamed of what other people may think of you. So yeah, that's just kind of a quick lesson for today. If you have any questions, again, feel free to message me. I would love to talk to you guys. Until next week, see ya.